Hi, I'm Steph Kohler, one of the co-founders and CEO at Ligantic. And today I was just writing up some of our release notes that explains one of our brand new capabilities, dynamic links. Normally we use this to give the sources or source attribution in a conversational experience, but I realized I can quickly put together a solution that provides a free and easy to use link in bio website for anyone who wanted to use this template. So in the video today, I'm going to quickly spin up a brand new space, create this solution live, and then at the end of it, I'm going to make it available as one of our free templates that you can use on the Ligantic platform. So if you want to follow along and build with me, feel free to do that. If you just want to jump straight to the end and grab this template and use it for yourself using our free account, please feel free to do that as well. So let's get into creating what we're going to make today. I'm going to create a space and I'm going to call it link in bio. I can also give it a parent space to sort where it goes, and I'm going to start with a blank space instead of one of our templates. From here, I'm going to make a couple of different things. The first thing I'm going to make is a link schema. For every link, I'm going to want to give it a title. I'm going to want it to stay as a text, and I'm also going to want to capture the URL. And finally, I want the ability to turn it on or off from the being live in my site. So I'm going to say live and make that a yes or no field. I'm also going to do something where I want my title to be shown as the ID. So I'm going to copy this title, and in our display template, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to open up the details on this text field and make sure that doesn't show in the table. I'll explain why we do that shortly. Now we can see we've got our links in here. I'm just going to populate it with some links so we can see how that might work. So we might make a Ligantic link, and we want that one to go live. I'm actually going to want all of them to go live, so I might go back in and edit our schema here. And in the details of our live one here, I'm going to default this to true when we're creating a new version. I'll hit save on that, and we'll keep adding some links. Might add my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me if you'd like. And as a final one, I might add one of the Ligantic company page on LinkedIn as well. And now I've got a couple of links that I'd want to show on my LinkedIn bio. And go through, I'm also going to make another schema here, and I'm going to call it profile. And I'm going to do that so I can just pull some information from this schema onto the experience that I'm going to design. So I'm going to add a title for my page. I'm going to add a subtitle for my page. I'm going to add a display picture, and I'm going to choose a file type from there. And again, I'm going to open up the details of what I'd like to see. I'm going to only allow images to be uploaded, and I want to display a preview. Again, I want to be able to see the title as my instead of a randomly generated ID there. So I'm going to create that. So let's go in and we can populate this title here. And we'll do a small picture. Okay, so what we see, we've got a profile, we've got some links. Now we can get into designing what this experience can look like. So I'm going to go to our space settings now, go to our experiences tab and create an experience. I'm going to call it home, and I'm going to remove the path name because I want it to just show up at the base level of the domain that I choose. I'm going to create that experience. So I'm going to build a box here and set that size to grow to 1. And I'm going to give it just a really simple gray background here. So I'll grab a nice sort of light grey background, not too hard to see there. I'm going to pull in 2 boxes and we can start structuring this. So I'm going to call this one the header, so we can have some named structures in our tree over here, and our links in this one. Make that all lowercase. All right, so now in our header there, I'm going to want to show our image. For the image, I'm going to want to show a text for our title and then a subtitle as well. So let's reorder them. I want my image at the top, so let's drag that up there. For our text, let's rename that one again. So it's title and subtitle. Don't need to rename these, but I find it a lot easier to navigate around when I'm doing that. So I'm going to click into my image. I'm going to click this over to entity so I can choose it from one of the things I've already uploaded. I'm going to select the schema profile. You'll see why we did this now. And I'm going to choose the profile step. From there, you'll see it's picked the image out for me. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. That's just that tiny element there. And I actually really like the look around of a circle display picture. So I'm going to go to our border. I'm going to set it to solid. I'm going to put that radius to 75 pixels. What that does is it gives us a radius of, it makes it into that circle that you can see there. And because I don't want that white line around the outside, I'm going to clear that one there as well. So this is starting to shape up. I'm going to click into our title text here. In the text, I'm going to say that I want this to be linked to data in an entity or in that schema that created before. And for that to work, we're going to need to go through and add a query. It's really, really simple for us to do. So we're going to go through to this header box, which is the containing box here. I'm going to add a query or enable it. I'm going to choose the schema that I want to look up. So in profile, I want the first only because there's only ever going to be one version of this. And that's all I need to do. You'll see now the header has the profile context. So I'll go to that title, I'll data link it, and choose that profile datum or context there. And I can select any of the different fields that are available on that title. On that profile, but I'm going to select title. And for subtitle, I'm going to do the same thing. So data linking it, selecting the appropriate datum, and choosing the subtitle there. Now that's all starting to look pretty good. I probably want to make sure that it's more center aligned, so it's going to feel a bit better. So again, I step into that header containing box and bring that layout to the center. In my image, in my title, I probably want that one to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go into my typography tab here, change the font family to Intertype, one of my favorites. And I might change this font size to 1.5 and make that a bold. I'll do a similar thing here, go to Intertype, keep that at not 10, at 1, sorry, and keep the font weight as it is. So now that's starting to give us a little bit of structure to that header. Let's move over to our links box. So for our links, we're going to do another query because we want this to look up all of the links that are published in our links schema here. So let's query. And instead of selecting the profile, now we're going to select the link schema. And we're going to add a filter onto here because we only want to select and display those that have a property of live where it equals literal of true. And so what's happening here is we're looking up all of the links and they're ordered by descending by the created at time. And we're filtering it to only the ones that have that live selected true. But we can't actually see anything that's been displayed yet. So we're going to build what each of these links need to look like. So we're going to drag a box in here, and then we're going to drag this link block as well. Over in our tree, we can see this. So for each one of our links, we're going to do a for each. So this box here has got the context of the links, and then this box, we want it to repeat for every single link. So we're going to just say for each link, and that'll go through and give us that context. Now we can see that it's working because now it's repeated itself 3 times, just like the 3 links that we've got in our schema up here. And so let's go into our text and link that data together. So we want to link it to the link itself, and we want it to be the title. All right, so that's starting to look exactly like what we want it to look like. And we need to do one more thing. So this is the new capability that I was very excited about, is when we're in a link, we can select a URL and then we can select a dynamic. And when it does that, we can click in here and it'll open up a variable that is coming from the context. And we can click in and see it's got link title. We can open up here. We really want link URL as the context for each of these. And we want it to open in a new tab. Now that's a lot of context to go through, but very quickly we've been able to make, and if I publish this right now and jump into our cloud, we can see that our Ligantic socials opens up, my LinkedIn opens up, and a link to our Ligantic website opens up. I can go in there and also, if I wanted to add a brand new one here, I could add a Google URL. And because that one's saved immediately, as soon as I refresh, I've got a brand new link on my link in bio site. We can turn that live publishing off and hit save. And if I go back over here and refresh that, it's now been removed. So quickly we've been able to build a customized experience. Now I'm just going to tweak it a little bit more before I turn this into a template, just because I like it to have a little bit of a different look here. So in our link, I'm going to give that one a border. I'm going to give it a solid border with a subtly light black lines. I'm going to give it a slight curve as well, because I like a nicely curved link box here. I'm going to make it just slightly bigger. So that's starting to look like what I'd like. I'm going to give it the text some styling as well now. So I'm going to click into the text here, into the typography element of it. I'm going to change the font family to Intertype. I did tell you it was my favorite. I'm going to change the font size to 1.5 rem, font weight to normal, and I want that text to be centered, so I'm going to center it here. I also want to give a little bit of spacing to each of these links so that they're not so squished here. So I'm going to open up the spacing and I'm going to give it a little bit of padding. So I'm going to go a little 0.75 rem. And if I go ahead now, I can see the changes have been saved and I can publish them. And if I open up over here, that is looking quite good. Very usable for us to just be able to publish that and have a link in the bio. Now, what I'm going to do is now I'm going to show you a few things that we need to do before we can hit publish and unleash this out to the world. So in our space settings, we need to go through and we can either randomly generate a name here, or I might write Steph link in bio, and it'll make sure that's available, and it is. And so now that'll be available to be published. What we do need to do to make sure that this can be publicly accessible is change our access mode. We need to change that to public. And for us to make a guest user role, we need to do a couple of things. Now, this is because we have a security first mindset here at Ligantic. We want to make sure that you're very intentional about what you're releasing out to the world. So go into the user and roles settings and you can create a custom role. So what we're going to call this role public, and we want to make sure that the role can read links, it can read the profile information, and it can read the experiences. By read, it just means it can view those things. So when we create that role, we're going to assign a public role to any authenticated users. So that means people who have logged into their Ligantic account, as well as guest users. Now, if we go back, and that is all automatically saved. If we go back into our experiences, we can see that we've got a cloud version, which is kind of like our developer publishing, and we've got a public version. If I open up that public version, it's steph-link-in-bio.ligantic.app. Now I could quickly publish that, put that on my socials or any link that I wanted to link to in my bio, and then have an actionable dynamic linking that I could provide and update the experience to at any time. So I'm pretty excited about these new capabilities, our experience builder, what's already capable and available in there, as well as what we can do and make available in these templates. So as I said, thank you so much for following along if you were following along. If you've had any questions or anything you'd love us to add to this template, please let us know. So you can build your own link in bio experience, or you can use the template that we'll be able to publish, and then you can just, when you're building a new space, click the link in bio template and build your own version from here. We're really excited to be able to offer these templates to be able to be used by our free tier. So if you're excited about something else, or if you want us to build something else for you to be able to leverage in that tier or any of our professional tiers, please let us know. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I look forward to seeing the links that you publish in your bio.